aba 24-hour economy project here mampani abomodawura no washase
Menoka say Indian Prime Minister Babe Piemu ewo oman Ghana emu wo mo kire mo na fonum e na wo babedi ewo hanu sei the 90s ye de bi beso mo ewo kase eso
so for ya wo hwe oban ya kwan ne akwantempon so e kire se aban eye de obetimi bia se de beye na ofanko pokuase kwan wo betumi ashase bi
Adeshimamba ensomwe ebi eka we ho anwumre ye kenka dia mo ase Paramount News ewo Great Commission TV so betimi akọ YouTube na wahwe ye ewo honom ye de ma okwa obenya bi ahwe wodin asa wo de won sembe fa honom na yakenkan bi ede abawo eya bofo bi adapoma ena ga dedicated to faith otunya TV pause ye bebo papa eyifi ene keka wa bia ede efi honom hola Savior Herbal Center ya de bi etete obi no fakwe na wo mo emwa Center for Apostolic Ministerial Apprenticeship womoso ebwa edo afa entity mu na nyame adwuma watimi ayebi
enyumako bi eka wenum ho ena anwei omoboa eso yasene ya yede nsemi eba besuma kenkafo yemienu omahene kofi asempa enemedin mene
na nepia asheba atabuso ayentwa ye ho kobre na ensem no nchemu ankasa yemfa ensomo yeba sesia Hemsia ma yasa so na yebo akaba eba kase yi eso afa gibre na tie kase no enchemu akasa enedue era Ghana Bampani Excellency John Dramani Mahama wone empanifo bi ekwetwa hyiaye na empo 2024 bosha wokokko hye yesempo nyame ya doma oba obeboa na empo no eye 24-hour policy wodi aba betudwa aboa ama Ghana de hye no mo anya adwuma ye no okọ ekoda adwumadie edi ede kire ye pa hontoma wo kire mu a eyesa ebia na eda wo ma no kekese wo mo ka se de da wo mbeto aba wo mo kogina simpie ne apaso wo mo eka no na de bi wo kire mu se bosha wo hye ye no yese wo bedi so enti ampane ampa ene okokopa adwumadie ho entoma wo kire mu anyese bia enkofo dodo ena ye befa wo mo adwuma mu enti ena ye yesa de no eno so beboa papa ama ennioma hodo bia wo mo de be hye 24-hour economy yase no womo so yebetimi anya ne dodo e man Ghana mu wose Ghana yebomodi akra nioma pa ne nyina no wo mbehwe se sa nioma no ne nyina eso betimi ate enti ebai enyese ebia eba beboa nipa ba ko pebeboa ama Ghana de hye nyina eho ato womo yenko dwumadie na se na anope mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ni sembia oditu dwa no yenko enkotie bi.
Today marks the formal launch of the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development program, what we now proudly call the 24H Plus agenda. This is more than a policy initiative. It is a national reset, a bold strategic shift to unlock our country's full productive potential. Today we reclaim our founders' vision of a self-reliant, industrious and inclusive African nation that works with organized creativity and ensures prosperity for all. So what are the origins of the 24H vision? The vision behind the 24-hour economy and the accelerated export development program was born from reflection during and after my previous term in office. Between 2016 and 2020, it became increasingly clear that Ghana, like many African countries, is trapped in a model of an equal exchange. We export raw materials and we import refined finished products. We ship cocoa, gold, timber, and oil abroad, only to repurchase them as chocolates, jewelry, furniture, and fuel at a far greater cost. This model does not serve our people. It has never served our people. It generates foreign jobs, it fuels foreign economies, and funds foreign healthcare and education systems. While our youth remain unemployed, our industries stagnate and our imports balloon. We had laid the essential foundation then for energy infrastructure, for roads, for ICT systems and human capital investment. But we knew that we needed to go further. And that meant we needed an integrated, bold, and coherent approach that dismantled the silos of past policies. The 24-hour plus program is that collective answer. And so we've moved from slogan to strategy today. In 2020 and again in 2024, thank you. In 2020 and again in 2024, the idea of a 24-hour economy captured national attention. It became a slogan of hope, a symbol that change was necessary and that it was possible. Our task now is to move from vision to implementation, from aspiration to action. This launch is not the end, but it is the beginning of a massive national mobilization. But let me be clear here. The 24H Plus agenda is not simply about extending working hours. It is about unleashing productivity, expanding opportunity, accelerating exports through well-structured, multi-sectoral, and inclusive interventions. And so we would have national consultation and co-design. And over the past 6 months, the 24-hour plus today marks the formal launch of the 24-hour economy and accelerated export development.
I'm sorry, Antoa and some so na young Koyanim. Na was I Jumadia Asiano, na Penia, one and 2 Mampanifo, a war 24-hour economy who would be for Gusi Tano, na one also a watch Jumadia Asibi, na Ujassim Peso a Casai Muse. Jumadia Epe, a idea ever bow my gun a year papa, na I share Amo how Hoodwaya, you know, moo as well, mino, at me, and you so a be a day Amaya na, which Muse. Say, what did you madi in your fresh year pa? Or maybe your mapono at the ato say, Ubi bia, ya, who be till my troopy, a watch Madian on Wamra, now or my country, betting in our superm, na wafa so Eddie Sisi, Ama Jumadino, I come pa, Ujina so, Eddie Abasobodia, Emma Mampani say, what to me, Abamotin, Amani, so I didn't say ye, at Timapum, Eddie Amo, my Ghana.
Format, a look ahead at our implementation plans and our facilitation of that implementation, and words of gratitude to those who have helped bring us to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, several 24-hour plus programs and documents have been in circulation for a while, in print and online. Let me briefly explain belatedly the format we used in developing the program. The program is available in a full version, an executive summary, and 8 sub-program books, each of which is self-contained but part of the whole. For example, if your primary interest is infrastructure, you can read just the Connect 24 sub-program. This will provide you with our complete infrastructure program and sufficient material to contextualize it as part of a broader program. We will soon produce abridged versions, popular summaries, and animations to help communicate program ideas and aspirations more widely. We hope you enjoy reading it and will share your reflections with us. We are also in touch with the Bureau of Ghana Languages so that we can disseminate the content of this program as simply, as effectively to all our people everywhere, every hour. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in implementation mode. We have divided the program into around 50 separate commercial, institutional, and social projects. We are writing concept notes for the first 20 of these projects. These concept notes have so far been our primary tools for engaging with institutional stakeholders, including local and foreign entrepreneurs, financiers, donors, contractors, CSOs, MDAs, MMDAs, community leaders, youth leaders, and others. They will be available on our website for interested persons to engage. We are pursuing several other targets in parallel. Firstly, on an ongoing basis, we have begun to the work of aligning our project with our current and planned government initiatives to minimize overlaps and increase synergy. For example, we have worked closely with the Minister of Agribusiness, Trade and Industry, Madam, to ensure that our respective textiles and garments programs complement rather than compete with each other. This effort culminated in an industry roundtable on June 9th, where stakeholders discussed the direction of textiles and garments policy and identified locations for future textiles and garment parks. The parks will not only be in Accra or in Tema, they'll be distributed across the country. Format, a look ahead at our implementation plans and our facilitation of that implementation, and words of gratitude to those who have helped bring us to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, several 24-hour plus programs and documents have been in circulation for a while.
Chayan free a 24-hour economy no emuna yenko ensefo for emwe. Na enche yebia and addition more ebia one more a year kwai meche contractors edibetu just say aban dada no kwai ahodo bi wo hono ma one more a year that's besi neno wada so ede wo mo ka enche be ya aban ya wabe enhwe na ontua emfama wo mo and am so enti emma eye finance minister de ma oman Ghana eye oronyafo atofo sendutu just say yidie wo mo enya entua obia eka esanse wo mo eye audit na wo mo hunu se empo sika wo mo ebobo no sa e na etie obi wo nom so ye mane sika se wonko enkoyi kwan na so besi ne no enya de wokọ ekoyeye enti ni nyina no wo mo hwe na wo mo atu hwana mo ansa na wo mbetue sika bi e de ama obi kura wo mo achia ram so enti e baga na de hye no mo ebi so e na monte so na wo mo ka se e kame ese aban ya wabe wo mpese obetua contractors fo no eka e nam so enti e ma deputy finance minister ye honorable Thomas Ampemiako ene ekopie mu e wo ye sister station ba koso na bra ye ne no e twetwe nkomo e fa contractors wo market ya ho no e no de tu dwa se aban e bo ne homodin bia se obetua wo mo ka bia wode no wo kire bu se sese no sika wo mo e de wo mani esiso se wo mo de behwe twetwa ka no e ye 13 billion Ghana cedis e no no wo mo hwe se emposa contractors wo mo de botua wo mo ka nanso no e yade audit e koso enti wo mo wie na wo mo e de ho ensunsuanso ba wo behwe na sika wo nyina no wo mo atua e de free wonom enti obi anka na koma enti ne yam e ye media budget review na e ye oswafo wo hwe Ghana yakoma bosika ho nsam so de be kwa kwatudwa mahye bedwam no adehye no wo mbeti wo mudin e wo mu se aban no e de wo musika no ahyemu ebi.
Had to come back, that and then the fact that they are now also losing about 5 cedis for every $1 revenue program for gold, oil, and cocoa. So they've had to come back to try and see how they can get another 6 billion from introducing this 8% levy on fuel, which they have suspended. So as you do your economic program and particularly your fiscal program and then you go along, you've committed the contracts, but as you go along, you would then observe the revenues as they come in or not. It is when the gap comes, that's when you have these unfunded commitments. I don't think anybody will be deliberate in doing that.
All right. Stay on. Let me talk to Honorable Thomas Nyakwampim, Deputy Finance Minister. Now, Honorable, I did hear you in Parliament respond to what Kojo said, but because you're here, I'm not going to play back what you said. But if you can summarize that, what the position was and whether Kojo was right or you were, it was just an oversight. What's your version of why, in his view, you were attempting to vary a cabinet decision to spend 13 billion cedis to pay contractors, and you wanted to spend it on other matters?
Thank you and good morning. Kwajo Mawache, I hope that I'm out to me there. Bernard, Kwajo is just trying to do politics on the floor and on this platform. because what we said and what the report of the committee was clear. One, he's trying to align with President Mohammed's decision to use the $360 million to pay contractors and suggest that that was the original intention of the loan. That is not true. The loan is a budget support facility from the World Bank. And budget support does not tie the hands of the government to utilize the proceeds for any specific item. It comes into the pool of revenue for the government, and the government decides what to use the money for. So that is the first thing. It says $300 million in March 2024. The second tranche is what we are assessing that we sent to Parliament. Government took a decision in cabinet that the total amount should be utilized for the payment of arrears. And that is what we communicated to Parliament. If you look at the report that he's talking about, he decided to choose the broad objectives of the facility and then just listed a number of the items listed under the broad objectives. If you look at paragraph 6.5, it says, and I read, the committee observed that the expected outcomes of the program include the following: improved revenue collection, improved financial sector stability, improved private investment and foreign direct investment, a host of them. This was in the original agreement. So that is a broad objective. But the agreement is that whenever you are assessing, the funds will be part of budget support. And budget support does not tie the hands of the government to spend it on any.
Na July bosume ewa fempinu ene aduonum yenumu ena wode kwan ema contract se wonya kwan fam free pokuase emfam wo fanko na wonkopie ensawam na saa kwan yi na wohwe anim esenka ebobosume ewa fempinu ene aduonu nan mu enka obetima wie na nso besinne wontimi enwie kwan yi na ni nyina mu no na eyeka ena na edaho enam so amasoafo ya wohwe ya kwan ene ya kwantempon so wonyamfo kwa me governance agboza wakasa wo ho ya wo kire se aban abonitim se obebo modern bia na eka ahodo ya wode contractors ni nyina watime yi ni nyina de afiri wo sanse eyeka ene da ho entina wo mutimi entoa ekwan yi eso sanse saa kwan yi da ho yi eyekwan a eboa oman yi papa eno ti aban ye de obetimi bia se wone contractors yi ebedi ho nkomo na fe ka bia wo ho no wahwe se obetimi yi de afiri wo se de be ya efiri pokuase kofa wo fanko di wram ewo nsamu ekwan ya wode ma contract no obetimi awie ni nyina.
Me fa ho there be I go around the country a lot. Sa project no omuye project na ni boy end up from ebe started as a government no na a car yen nuamu NB4 eja wa road minister nkwan 21 billion Ghana cedi. And a contract all site and I am you know until more than 100 billion Ghana cedi. And I am passe answer I started as a government no na economy no enye easy him cedi ni dollar ni na your IMF as a matter of fact yen to me boss na we ni nyina but nyame adom yen finance minister aye jumabi and nyame adom a ebia in the coming weeks you best start etua part of the indebtedness to contractors. It means to me because because 21 billion cedis anyhow. And you bet you are kakra na muko so na muye juma. And yeah, in Krankwana a project na abandoned. But ufa a friend who say of Anko project Dunkwan. It's over $340 million GOG funded project. A friend who saying Kaswa over $400 million. Enti enyesika edaho kwa enti yebeye dwumadin say na betimi etua mukarakra no me fa ho there be I go around the country a lot. Sa project no omuye project na ni boy end up from ebe started as a government no na a car yen nuamu NB4 eja wa road minister nkwan 21 billion Ghana.
Emsha yenko ensanfo for emona Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi wababepie mu ewo oman Ghana emu na empanifo ekyemu ananum na wade asi ho no ma wo bo apro ewo ebibre atoye man ahodo no emu na abro babepie mu oman Ghana mu no abomoden a eye mampani His Excellency John Dramani Mahama kokohia no kwan so kama wakire mu a wabayi wababehwe na empo eba ne Ghana ye nneoma ahodo bi a wo betimi aboa hyemu kena no wo so de wo mu ababebo a wakire mu a ekoye energy sector hono a na ni beje pan yie se wo betimi aboa Ghana sanso na eba no health sector so a wode na ni bekire mu wo hono ye security ene empo capacity building wakire mu se ni nyina no se ye ne wo mo ekabomu a yade wo mo nso betimi ahwe na wo maboa oman Ghana papa yie enti se se me na wo kase prime minister edema eye India de owo oman Ghana emu wachemu se yi ade abra wabai wo free hanom dia na je se wode nani ebekire mu ewo eye Trinidad ene Tobago honom enso na wode nani bekire mu wachemu se eye July bosume ne da etoso enan eno wo bekwa kopie mu ewo honom na eno so anyonkofa eda wo muntemu no wakwa kohyemu kena ewo honom entime no kasa yi ade eye Indian Prime Minister wababepie mu oman Ghana mu a woni mpanifo eguso wo mo etwetwe enkombo ewo ene due
efiti afimpino ene adunu nan December bosumida na toso enson mu ye koto aba besinde Ablekumanov wo mo entumi enyamra sebedwani a wokoso manamu ewo emrasebedwafie na wawono awono anam so amane electoral commission de krata abaponten ya wo kire mu se no wone afanum yenu eye MPP ni NDC wo mu mienu ena na ente wo ho ase ye nam so besi ndenti wontumi entro aba enyi mrasebedwani ewo Ablekumanov na electoral commission kire se enra eye July bosumda na edikan no wone afanum yenu nyina tena sitting komo ama entiase ye adwuma se de aba no wo mbesa to na wo mbeto a wokọ Ablekumanov a ekita mpeswa no makomako aduasa enson na emu edunwatwe de afanum yenu nyina atiase ema presiding officer wo ho nso atiase bie ese eno de ema afiri ho baaye no ekrogin na emu dunkron no na NDC amanyekuo no ekire se enkrata ya na kita mo ye pink sheet no ya na kita wo mo sese wo mo hweso ewo polling sentence no eno akro na no mo san eto aso edikopie mu ewo collation center ho a MPP amanyekuo no de a wo de baa no ohunu ne se wafogire no wo de aba eti wote ase bia enye yie enam so ama electoral commission ahye se de ade na sia ye no de aba na ena sese woto no foforo no beto a na empeso amakomako edunkron ya na menteme ho ase no ewo ho no eno ena obesan ato ne foforo eno nti isi ahye ese nyame yatomu a efieda July abosom de toso eduba akono sada no ena wobeto aba no na wo kire se waka kire temamufo nyina ese wonkomakoma nto ye papa sanse omo ye de ometumi bia se abato no ebetumi akọwa no eno achi posi nsoso abo anohoba se ekwan bia obefa so na obetumi abo ban age ban ama empesoa edunkron na wo mokọ akoto aba no na kenkan betumi akọ asomdwemu no wonso wobeye ene krata eba bonten oru Samuel tete ya wono na deputy chairman in charge of operations edema electoral commission wono ena ne nsa ehye krata yase a eba bonten sese de Ablekumanov empesoa makomako edunkron no wo mesan atoso aba biem
Harishima mayemfri abato ene emu ensemu na yemfa ye ne enchemu ewo mrashibidwom na domkuma ewo honomo eye NPP amanyokuo no womo ba no deni abedi kire eye mame Patricia Apiaje wakasa ede afa eye ensema ekoso oman Ghana emu na watwi ye twemu ya na empanifo bo modern meche economic and organized crime office yokofo ekokopie mu ewo openi Wahab ni fie womo ekire mu se enkane no na wono na eye executive officer Edma National Food Buffer Store Company na womo ekire mu a enioma bi enkoyie ewo na so ye wabeko a na oyepeni Edma ekuei enam so enti ema ye twe wone ne yere ekọ womo aso ye nansa na ye beja wo mo no ye mo a wo mo bill na bill no e yade a opani Abdul Hanan Wahab ye man 50 million Ghana cedis bill ena ne yere nso e de eye 30 million na chese ye kabo mo a wo mo mienu no eye 80 million Ghana cedis eno ena ma me Patricia e kire mu se e kabe ese ene yokofo se wunnim na kopie wo mo aso ya na je wo mo pese wo mo ye ne se wo mo e de bill no panishe wo mo e de etua wo kapa esanse nimpa no esanse waye boni nti na wo bepie mu wo honom empo ne kakra bi anka obetua ne nanka ye nanso no kame ye se wo mo de buronya ho ewe krakese ase de nimpa na wo ba no kra no wo ma bo na to honom dada enti obepie wonom a ene atwamene buo bia na ye de ama no se wontua nya sa wontimi empie nti na sa nimpa no so atua wose sa nneoma na ye ye nya no yade a emmoa
political candidates. We demand the immediate review of the bail conditions imposed on Mr. Wahab and his wife. The bail must be reasonable, fair, and consistent with the law, not an indirect punishment. Mr. Wahab must be released on terms that uphold both his dignity and the principles of justice. Ghana must rise above this politics of revenge and retaliation. No public servant should be punished simply for serving under a different administration. Let us protect the integrity of our state institution and free them from political abuse. These conditions by all standards are excessive. What is the justification for bail conditions that amount to financial punishment before trial? Where in our laws does it say someone must risk bankruptcy just to secure their freedom while under investigation? Mr. Wahab is not a flight risk. His track record of public service speaks for itself. He has served this nation with the utmost honor and diligence. He is a family man, not a criminal. The manner in which he and his wife were treated is not only harsh, it is humiliating. It sends a worrying signal that people who have served under a past administration will be targeted once power shifts. We believe this is not about justice. It is political persecution. It is part of a broader pattern under the current NDC administration to use state institutions to intimidate perceived political opponents. To be clear, of political candidates, we demand the immediate review of the bail conditions imposed on Mr. Wahab and his wife. The bail must be reasonable, fair, and consistent with the law, not an indirect punishment. Mr. Wahab must be released on terms.
I'm sorry, I tried some so na young Enra da na o maimuni nyina ya yidiasi wo se ye bompaye na ye donyame asesan se edema ahodo ye ekoso ewa amahodo so no oman ye hunu bi enuti na esefata se ye de aseda ebema twedi ampon na mansini ahodo no so eye wom de ewo wo mansin emuo na asunafo north ena wom so ehye wom de ase na abra dwumadie no eba na wieye ena pan krache ya wugina ho ema wo manfo ya wom wo mpeso ano so ayo no nyamfo Joseph Akparebo na wakasa en wo kire se wohwe eneye ya Ghanafo ye dana di ewo maimu se timamufo no a ya na nsem fata ya na nya kono wo kire se enya se bia wo man yi yentimi nkoye ni mu ye koye ni mu pa nanso adwene ya ehye enipa bitrim ya wo mu betumi aye de kode pa nso wonhwe nye wo bebo abro saa na nema nyina aye basa ewo man ni mu wo se saa nema nyina enye enuti ebehwe na se betumi akoye ni mu so oman ya yenhwe ne yensakra yadwen na yentumi emmoa empem so yakabo mu a yebetumi akoye ni no achi ɛna nkɔso mahema nana afiase wanso ɛde bi to so a wɔkyerɛ sɛ Ghana mabunu na nsan adibuo ɛyɛ ne no wodi atam wɔyɛ saa ne ma nyina nsɛm fata ɛno nti wɔsrɛ sɛ awofoɔ akyerɛkyerɛfoɔ ne wɔn a ɛka bi ɛwɔ mu nyinaa wɔnka mom na wɔn mmoa sɛ de bɛyɛ saa ne ma nyinaa yɛbɛtumi atu aseɛ
de nyinaa ɛsesan adwene me yɛ nyɛ ne sɛ NDC aban na anya ana yɛwura His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na anya na mmom obi bia ɔte mamu ha no ɛna anya asumdue ɛni ɔman mu a sɛbi wontimi nkɔ wontimi mma sɛ yɛ nyinaa ɛsesan adwene na hu sɛ ɔman ne bibi ɛda hɔ ɛsɛe ade a ɛsɛ sɛ wankasa wobɛto ho akyɛ na wode ayɛ ne deɛ yɛ nyinaa yɛntu yɛ ho nkyɛ na yɛmfa yɛ ho de ɛnyɛ ne yɛbɛtumi de aboa ɔman no yɛaboa yɛ communities na yɛaboa mpatamu a yɛte no ɛno na ɛbɛma ɛtumi aboa nti yɛnkyɛnyi yɛ mindset no
nam sɛ nɛ no sɛne school kora yɛmfa abaa ma akɔlaa ɛna ama nkɔlaa na ayɛ biribi a kyɛ sɛ woka wɔ m asɛm anka ne yɛnsɛ sɛ wɔ mu yɛ no ɛno ne wɔ mu yɛ baase yɛ nyinaa ka yɛ adwene bom ne yɛsi pi ne yɛka sɛ nnɛ seesei Ghana yɛsesa Ghana ne yɛde mpaebɔ yi yɛ mpaebɔ na sesa biribiaa mpae no bɛtumi asesa ama yɛ mma no ne yɛ nana no nso aba bɛtumi aba bɛnyini ayɛ panyimpa sɛ sɛ yɛamfa mpae no antɛkyɛ ne yɛntu wɔ mu fo ne ankasa ankyerɛ wɔ mu na sɛ ba
nyinaa ɛsesan adwene me yɛ nyɛ ne sɛ NDC aban na anya ana yɛwura His Excellency John Dramani Mahama na anya na mmom obi bia ɔte mamu ha no ɛna anya asumdue ɛni ɔman mu a sɛbi wontimi nkɔ wontimi mma sɛ yɛ nyinaa ɛsesan adwene na hu sɛ ɔman ne bibi ɛda hɔ ɛsɛe ade a ɛsɛ sɛ wankasa wobɛto ho akyɛ na wode ayɛ ne deɛ yɛ nyinaa yɛntu yɛ ho nkyɛ na yɛmfa yɛ ho de
wɔde gu so yi a wɔhwɛ Paramount News ɛwɔ Great Commission Television so ma yɛnyina saa nsɛm yi so na yɛntwa yɛ ho mmerɛ ta wɔ ba a yɛde wobɛkɔ ama ahodoɔ so nsɛm mu
Ano ne adofo mede nchaso nko ade ma obi biara ohwe me efiri ye Time Herbal Center mene kwankyerefo a mede edru Time Herbal Mesha na Time Herbal Mesha mede aba edwamaso obowura dos na heba shop pharmacy shop bia okwa obenya bi ato na edru ampese twon komopa Time Herbal Mesha no kwasanse edru a boost immune system no support immune system na yakwa cells and the red blood cells supporting Kwamano, and many ahoden as from con. Be partial uti me will be a while now yare, Yaribi be a na ibi aboa, what drew air bar copy a drone Time Herbal Mesha, and answer the capsules. I idea when you be a bit me about papa, but your baby will have one so na Supitani Nasina Eba, or Habons and Sansana Buguna say, or Habons and Asena Ekano, who walk grandpa after a men's son, who wants and I say bit me Ashino, who wants to in Suya Sensory and Kauna if I say Eba, the patron no Time Herbal Mesha, and answer the capsules Zibia, but what is how we at your flu so. Ma aware so empedofo so benya nsani yebunu be na yenka na sam ye ka na so obu abaka so mato adurabre na empedofo so ukodwa miinu a na hu de eba the sent na so yo ba na se wutimi a na kan fo Time Herbal Mesha ana asa ne capsules na kan fo adlamaw sanso abeme bo ha no ba be ko din pasogro efiri na nsen ko no bonus insufita ne firi be ma na eba efiri be 5 days ko na insu na nia sesa na ya brownish color na ne be ma na emuya ne ya na ne mu ahihye no obu okra okodun so kra mpa yiso kudira mfikyire be bi na wafe ne sen na wakwa akodun so bonus ne be ma na ahihye no na ekuro abamu obu ane de no wa treaty ekọ ne so ho abonus ne mu na eka na pe patro ye be ma na wutie ni a ekuro na eba ko pe unya Time Herbal Mesha ana asa ne capsules na ade a wonya bia ebetu aboa papa ama won so watumi adon ho be ma bo abon sansa na do gugu no ho o abon sansa mo bi no ne nam no ase kokodwie no wode ne nsa beka no enso ade a onhu bibia e wo ho ipachoto tam HHBA mesha anasa the council sunibi na anokwasen say ade amono no eboa ema isisi dipadua no na anokwasen say eyi saw how we through hono sembi kaka na e boost immune system no a support na madane dana wenya hoden sonkon atumi aboa obu abons no wa akra ofi base fi dunwotwe ekona na obu ha okudare ensum oho abons ojonso na wenya ena moja free ni be na eba ipacho wonnom se do bia eyade be isa how we nyina e de free ho e de amawo enu achi wa time heba mesha ena ofa ba bia time enam djuma sonko time heba mesha edi eye malaria fever ulu bia malaria fever e how pa they send dana kwada hospital ye do kona ye do eba men ka so de oyare ya ni malaria fever wa mra time heba mesha e wo ulu nu bia be boa mo otuma didi e be boa mo otuma nsuo be boa mo otuma adwonso yare wo kwampa better video so na manka na nsuo do na ekọ sanse nyankopon e na se yare ayare safu nyankopon nso de bia tam eba mishemu ayade a wonu num bia ebetu abo papa obu abo sna na honam na ehyeso no ne honam na edwa no obu okra mpa okotoketa so a opri koto ha na opri koto ha obu okra mpa se yedru na yatome nanso malaria parasite na eba ni padua ma eya o ha bebri na edebrewo obebu okra mpa wetimi ka se ebe bo so be nsa ohun ne mogani ana ohun ne menses into wanyam opako hospital doctor be ne lab no na malaria parasite no na ado so e wori ni padua mu the same trakofa sa ha na e dia bre no e pro bado no time eba mission bi no afina sa ha we na efiri ho na ekọ people cho yo ba na wutie mi a matam heba mission da entire mail ji wo ba ha fa efuru na so ma akra nu fo ono na ontimi no time heba mission bi the no echi na ya dia e betumi aboa ama watimi ade ho your number is 0244 417 669 0244 417-669 and no mem ha ubu ra gas heba shop pharmacy shop ha baby abeko bia men kase me to do bia keke so pe tam heba mesha and as a tam HH heba mesha and then the council say ya dia unya bia ebetumi aboa empeni percent takra na ma akokọ ekese na so takra bo an de fenam kwatre kwa wo ba num adu na adu ntimi mo no ka wa num adu nkwa pa nkeye the center make up tam heba mesha make up for dia mawo ubu obete se ye ka adu nwa simsin on fe do ni din entu ni trim obeko akura do so shop na pharmacy shop no wasimiti see kan do bi wasense say ya dey we so ya dey we na yakoyi aduru bi na ya biama no nanso mperenfo asen kokọ na mapem a ohun nyina anim pe nanso so bia na ntakra ne sent na make am for ma so ko wura drugstore heba shop a kaisa time no yi TIME obomade na wonsa ka bia ya de ebetumi aboa meeting e de na otafrida owusu agenan bomade fe 0244 417-669 medati for na do for nyina asese wonya adaje na mutie me nya
Ebusia yansa so na yemu akwaba emra kaseyi eso afeya de nsam no ekọ obi man so ensam emu Somalia man ni mo ena yekọ akogina na enne awehosama babetodwa ene se wiemu hyen bako akonya kwenhye nam so amankofo miensa ena wo mo ato nananom ewo nsiedo empanifo ekiremu a eyade wiemu hyen eye Uganda Air Force wo mo wiemu hyen na ade wo mo de ye ene se wo mo edeboa abibiman ahodo no se empontokwasi ewo baabi na wo mo ekọ akopata enti wo mo ekiremu se African Union Support and Stabilization Mission na je dwumadie na a wo mo didie enie enti wo mbomodin adeboa se de be ya wo kwa nso betimi ede asrafo yi bia gu modi akọ na wo mo ekiremu se anopa yi a ena chese wiemu hyen asrafo mako enwotwe ena na wo mo etim na wo mo ebomodin etufri eye baridori airfield ehonomo ena wo mo etufri ya wo mo ede wo mo ni ekiremu ewo Madagusi eye airport ahonomo ena wo mo ekọ na wo mo kiremu se wiemu hyen wakwa akodu baabi a wo se wo kokodu kura na wo belande no wo mo hunu de kokobaye ena fedie eji se bum na ne ejadem enam so ama enkofo miensa de kanana womo ato nananom ewo ensiedo na enum a aka nso womo kyeremu se womo pre womo nkwa papa esanse baabi womo da no yade a enye na opani a wode ensam yi etu dwa eye head of immigration woko eye Somalia airport wonoma wono eye Ora Atan Mohammed wo kyeremu se de ekokoba ye ebi enono na adekode potie nam so ema wiemhye kro wonya asa kwanhye womo enya ehunu ye afei ena womo eye mu ehwehwemu enti womo de ya konsem ebema ebusia omo ahyere womo adehye ena womo nso womo preje womo kwanso womo bompa ye se Awurade ayaresa ebetimi ato womo so
Asaye ko adigidie mu Ghana jumtuni keke fosu ena eneyi wasi ne ho se ohene ba na de nam so ma wasi ne ho se hene ba yi ne nyina eye high life adwumtu ya na dwumadie bi ekoso wo London aprochimam ya abrante amachi dede ya wo Ghana jumtuni wasi wodi afrisiada ye toso aduenum fiti se wo ba Ghana jumtu mu enam so ama dwumadie ya se woto nsa e de frɛ keke fosu se wo mrai sanse wono so eto Ghana jum high life yi ebie na abra omugina simpie so eto dwom na kekefusu ekire mu se wohwe Ghana dwom pa yeto a eno ene free Ghana ha pa eno ene high life no na wo pehene ewo mu a wo hene na ene amachi dede eno nti se amachi dede ye hene de ya ene ono so ye hene babema ya wo no so ewo high life dwom nim eno nti wasi ne he ne ho wo hene ba be ma ya abrofu ka se be ka nse wo ye prince na enumu na wakasa no wokyere se wohwe ekwan a oman mi ye faso eye adwumu a high life tetedwumu a na ye yo no eno ekire oman ya bakosem ekire oman atetesem ekire adwene poten ya ewo dwumu mu a se wutie adwumu mu asem a wobetumi ede afa adwene ye papa na enso enanwumi akoye bibie wo ho eno nti obesere enamabunu ya wo mo baga na nwumtu mu se wo mo to dwumu na eye a wo ma ehonte adwumu na wo mbetwero no eya omoma ne nkyere oman ya bakosem ya tetesem ene enimdie ahodo a ewo mu no eya enwom omoto no omoma ne nkyere sa na ema we nyina na ena di pefe se oman Ghana yenwom a yeto no eya na ehonte pa absan be gyina kekefosu ensemi so na fe anwumrei ensemo de besom de nyina aba na we ade aseda ma Enagard medicated toothpaste eya posin anwumrei pebi na unya pi na wo report se beboa wo ama ose ho ayedin aduka ebeyi ni nyina e de free ho e de amount Eden Hills Residential Services ka ho e na won beboa nsase papa de ni nyina da wono na eboa wo na wama pi Center for Apostolic Ministerial Apprenticeship se brai na wo boa brafe se de ofre e wo so akantete ye ne kakra bi wo beboa wo ama wo so ntete no atinya bamusa e de amount go say mu travel and tour so boa wo want sem nyina aye wano edi ama hola sevia herbal center se brana wo mo na fe wo soso wapomudin etimi enyina naso ye papa Ayam Media and Professional Institute obeboa wo ama se wo pese wo yensam droni no wo dai so etimi abam edi ama fa ho bebo na wo mo wo na fe wo so dai so no etimi emam emfa ema nwomako ya da roma na wo boa ye na nwumre yi ye de nsemi ebesum akenkafo eyeme omahene Kofi Asempa mene
na nekia acheba atebusu beda wase papa sa ojebre na utime ehwe kase yi ebifidu ya mu haso yeda munyina ase ebusu ya sorry so time with counselor so ebeto so ede aba yema monehwa adehye yakramo